Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Off Rift podcast, episode 19. I'm Mercury, that's Vestion, and week one of the LCP is done and dusted. We got a lot to talk about this week. We've got teams looking pretty shaky, the meta keeps looking weirder, and we've only got 5 more weeks of the LCP for the rest of the year. Plus, if you don't want to miss a single episode of the podcast, we're live every Tuesday at twitch.tv/mercurycast at 2 p.m. Australian Western Standard Time, and you can submit your burning questions and your hot takes live on air, and we'll debate them. You can check out the VODs as well on Spotify and YouTube. Subscribe to both those channels. We appreciate your support. I saw Jat doing the Ludwig style intro on the last Mind the Gap episode, so I'm like, might as well copy it for this one. But you're looking a bit doomer. Maybe that's because of GZ's results. But how you been?
I'm just tired, mate. I'm tired. I'm okay. I mean, I just trotted along with uni and watching the LCP. I do miss Split One, and by virtue of it being earlier, so I
Yeah,
could like reasonably stay up and co-stream the whole thing simply because, like, I mean, by the time Series One ends, it's like midnight in
yeah.
New Zealand, and I have flatmates, so I can't like. If a Ground Zero game is on, I can justify sort of co-streaming it because, like, I'm the Ground Zero co-streamer. But if it's not a Ground Zero game, it's kind of hard to justify being loud and potentially waking up my flatmates when yeah. But that's all. I do miss Split One for that reason, because the time was just so much better for me personally in New Zealand. But other than that, all good.
I'll have to get you some soundproofing or something so you can stay up and scream your lungs off late at night.
True.
Yeah. Or move to the proper time zone. Either way, we'll figure it out. But yeah, as we mentioned, week one is done and dusted for the LCP. We had 4 matches, all best of 3. None of them went the distance. They were all sweeps, all across the
Yep.
board. We started out with G2 versus MVK. This is probably the one that I was most excited for.
G2.
Sorry, G2, not G2, GZ. Sorry, my bad. GZ versus MVK. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was like game one. They just never had a shot because they
Yeah.
drafted absolutely
Oh, the
horribly. I don't know. You
Galio.
you you put T1 in there, and they're probably losing. Like it was such like, in my opinion, it was just like so lost from the offset. And the fact, I think, that the game was at times close, and like despite being down like 6k gold, they were like winning fights, I think
Yeah.
is a testament to how skilled the players can be as individuals. Betty specifically on the Ziggs, it looked really, really good. But they drafted themselves into an absolute hole. They had no one that was reliably going to be able to do anything to Aatrox, and Guri then took over the game and did what he should. Game two, obviously, arguably just as bad. I don't know. I'm not too upset by virtue of this is their first game together, and MVK obviously are a good team. We saw that last split. Yes, they can have times where they sort of collapse, I guess. But during the regular season, they've always been a good team during early regular season in specific. So I'm not too upset, and like with the fact that we have another 2 potential games, and honestly, DCG being our next opponent and looking just as rubbish is
Yeah.
like probably a good way to see exactly the level of GZ at the moment are.
I'd argue worse. I mean, we can sort of, we don't have to go in order. We can talk about DCG next. They went up against
Yeah,
they were Gum? Yeah, it was Gum.
CFO.
Oh, CFO, yes, it
CFO.
was CFO. It was CFO. And
Yeah.
Pout looked good. I'm sorry for putting him so low on the tier list, Kevin. That's why I'm wearing this today. Yeah, DCG just sort of collapsed. Pop Nines, he was just getting mind controlled into engages. Xiaoxi was looking rough that whole series. Surprisingly, I think Feng was looking like the best out of all of them. Like Florin had some good moments in that second game, but this is not the way I thought this series was going to go, considering how this matchup has gone across this entire year.
Yeah, no, I think it was a horrible look for DCG. I agree that Fang looked reasonably okay, but again, he's just on majors, like not to
Yeah,
discredit anything, but it's quite a lot easier to look good on majors. It's the same as Betty in game one. Like Betty looked pretty good. Admittedly, I think Betty had more standout plays in terms of mechanical display, but it's pretty hard to look terrible when you're picking six. Like it's just flat out pretty hard to look bad. I think the entirety of DCG looked bad.
yeah.
it's unfortunate to say, and I'm sure it's not going to be a consistent thing. And I'm sure they are going to once again look pretty strong as we expect them to. But at least for this series, CFO came in with a game plan, executed on it well. DCG had no answer pretty much the entire time, and rightfully so, CFO 2-0'd.
Yeah, I mean, even Doggo on the, speaking of the majors, looked pretty solid on the Vladimir in that second. I think it was the second game that he picked that. But yeah, we'll have to see how they go. Both of the PCS teams dropping down. Well, obviously CFO as well, but both of the partner the guest teams dropping down 0-1 in that first match. We also had on the Saturday as well. We had Hawks going up against Team Sigma Wales. That was another one of those series where like players that okay, yeah, Bo, yeah, I've got it on. I'll put the GZ jersey on when you guys win the series next week. So we'll have to see if that happens. But yeah, Hawks had a bit of a rough series as well. Histo and Dire popped off in that one, but Evie was looking a little bit subpar. This was an off week for some of the players that we've sort of considered to be up and coming like contenders, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it was. And the established teams already looking good. I mean, okay. Team Wales were always going to win.
Yeah, they
I
were.
mean, that's like,
in that fashion, I don't think anyone expected.
I don't know. They're our best team.
Really?
I'm not. Yeah.
Hawks
I'm not
was
that
really the
surprised.
only one who like pushed them in the regular season last time around. In split
yeah, but they still lost.
Yeah, but even still, they put up a.
And so you come back,
than...
a team that has not had a break and has continued to play on stage games versus a team that hasn't played a stage game in like a month and a half. Yeah, I'm going to probably look at the team that's consistently played to have a better read on the meta, first of all, practice with the meta, and then also sort of don't have those nerves of coming back to a live performance. So I'm not very surprised at all. I think that is was my expected result, I think. And now, would it look closer maybe next week or the week after if that was when they met? Maybe, probably. But I think the fact that SHG are just coming back into it is not too surprising.
Yeah, and another team that hasn't really had a break either, Garm, they didn't even really look jet lagged at all. DFM was like down, I think it was like 2k at 5 minutes or something. It was horrendous. Momo was Momo was getting bullied. He was missing the Embess ult. I was like, oh, it's over. It's over at that point. And then game two, they just decided to throw the game at Raptors for like zero reason. I'm like, what are we doing?
It's a classic, mate. It's a classic. Yeah. Raptors and Scuttle Crab are the two mind controls for junglers.
And Red Buff, it was happening, I think it was the CFO DCG game. They just walked up, tried to contest the Red Buff for no reason, and then they get wiped.
No, he's a special case. Pop 9's a special case. That guy, again, this team lives and dies by the Pop 9 flip, and unfortunately, I didn't flip very well. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, DFM versus Gums, whatever. It's the expected result, unfortunately. And unfortunately for GZ, we didn't roll the DFM in the 0-1 bracket. We rolled DCG, but it is fine, because that means if we were to somehow lose against DCG, we then get DFM. And that's when, if you remember, split 3 of last year, PSG start the split 0-8 and then still made Worlds. And it was Chiefs, the bottom feeders, that turned around the trajectory of PSG in split 3. This time, worst case scenario, DFM turn around the trajectory of the GZ. So it's fine. Like the trajectory to make Worlds is still there. All we gotta do is make finals. Absolutely doable. To be honest, I don't expect us to come in and look super hot from the beginning. There's a long time. I mean, there's not a long time, but there's quite a few games to get eliminated. You got a best of 3 this weekend. I think Thursday is GZ's best of 3. And then worst case, we get a best of 5. From then on, it's best of 5s. Which is a lot easier, or not easier, but you get to actually have a lot more chances of not drafting like complete utter dog shit and turn around sort of the trajectory. I think, I don't know what happened to us, but that was a horrible, horrible draft. Honestly, if we draft like that against DFM, we'd probably lose. I'm going to be honest, because we just didn't have tools to win.
Yeah.
Oath, man. Who's killing into Aatrox?
Honestly, Kevin was saying even Chovy couldn't save this team. So I'm trying to gauge where you guys are both at in terms of the strength of this team.
DFM?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, they're not going to make worlds if they had Chovy. The point is, like, they could win a game if we just draft no
Yeah,
damage
maybe.
and they draft an Aatrox.
Yeah.
4 melees, all of which aren't damage. Like, it's not like 4 melees, one of them was Gwen. No.
Mm.
It was just 4 useless dog shit melees that can't kill anyone.
Yeah.
And a Ziggs. And the Ziggs was good. That was it. That was the only thing that was good, unfortunately.
I actually didn't realize that this week starts on Thursday, so thank you for that reminder, because that is that's going to change a lot. We got a lot of action over the course of the next weeks. I mean, it's like 5 rounds of regular season, and then you've got seeding matches, and then the playoffs all condensed into 5 weeks of total action.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But
exactly. At least we'll have a lot of prep time. I don't know when Worlds starts, but we'll have a little bit of a break between, obviously, the
usually
players
October.
going off to, obviously the players going off to Asia Games will have that in the meantime. I think I'm not exactly sure what the timing of that is, but yeah, we'll have to see how they go. But I wanted to ask you, this is the big question of the week. What is your overreaction from week 1?
My overreaction.
Yeah.
Hit
me with it.
It's probably something along the lines of, like, DCG have no shot at going to Worlds or something, which I don't necessarily fully believe, but that would be the overreaction.
Yeah.
I think they looked horrible. Like, actually just horrible. And again, I want to reiterate, CFO did look better. It's not like DCG looked really bad and CFO looked just as bad as last split. CFO looked better, but DCG looked much worse.
Yeah, DCG had some winning fights. They were getting some dives off, but CFO just looked on another level, which is weird thing to say after how they've exited early the last 2 playoffs, and how we've been talking about, this era after Hongq and Junja both leaving, who their team's not going that great in the LPL at the moment as well. So we'll have to see. But in terms of missing playoffs, now that we're getting down into the weeds of it, because one of these teams will be 0-2, or 2 of these teams will be 0-2 by the end of the weekend. It's got my mind thinking, like, who's going to miss players, who's going to get eliminated early, and all of the options barring DFM are, I would say, surprising in some way. Like GZ with this roster overhaul coming in, if you told me they'd be potentially going down 0-2, if you told me the DCG were potentially going down 0-2, I wouldn't have possibly believed that.
Yeah. One of the teams will be eliminated this week. 2 teams will be eliminated.
Oh, really? Is elimination this week as well?
Yeah, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So elimination, I believe, will be Saturday, Sunday. One of them. Because there's enough. If you look, maybe not. Well, Sunday's a best of 5, so maybe it'll be one team promoted. Right. But either way, I don't know exactly which game is on Sunday, but there's a chance that's an elimination
it'll be
game. I guess
one team eliminated this week. Yeah, because 0-2.
So. Yeah, well, I mean, that could be a 2-0 bracket too. I don't know. I don't know if it's the 2-0 or the 0-2 bracket, but either one team 0-2 or one team 0-3, whatever.
They actually they might give the first one to the winners bracket, just
probably
give them
a promotion.
Like the advantage.
Yeah, I think it's probably promotion, but I don't know. It's not too surprising to me that GZ lost game 1. I mean, to be honest, like MVK we're a good roster. Yeah, and GZ again, they haven't had that much time to find their identity. They drafted terribly. They lost. I mean, it can happen. You see there, Bo's Sky's locked in the Baron pit now. He is not a free man anymore.
Yeah.
Got a lot of practice of drafting to do, I fear. But yeah, we come in next week. DCG, if they look as bad as they did against CFO, I have full faith. I'm hoping they don't randomly come into their form like they did playoffs last split, but it's always an opportunity, and that's something that GZ are going to have to be prepared for. But definitely winnable. Definitely winnable. Our strengths, kind of, like our strength being Betty and Yijang, I'd say, kind of over. I think it's good for us because I think the strength of DCG typically is Hongshro and Pop 9 on a good day. So we have conflicting strengths, I guess, and it's like whatever side of the rift does better. Definitely a good chance of winning, and I'm hoping that'll be us. And I know for sure it can be, but whether or not it is, we have to wait for the day.
No more gin for Betty. That's what we're gonna say. Skywalk, I know you're probably listening, or by transitive property you're listening. Please, I don't want to see any more gin, just in general. But speaking of the bot lane, that's been a major part of the discussion of the past week. Now that pretty much all of the regions, technically LCK if you count Kesper Cup, are
Mm.
back in action, we are seeing just absolute madness unfold in the meta. We saw Locke debut. He looks really strong. Even Fisher was popping off on it. We've seen like Akali, Silas, and even Locke in the bot lane. We're seeing Sion, Mundo. We saw Vlad. And I just love where we are going from here. It's like the Wild West.
Kind of. I mean, I was always a big fan of AD carries for the reason that like it's way more fun to watch a pop off game of Kai'Sa or Xayah than it is to watch a Ziggs that's 6-0. You know, and so for an entertainment value sort of perspective, I really did enjoy AD carries. I know not everyone does. I know like some people enjoy this meta where it's kind of more a thinking man's meta, and you've got your supports going around the map, controlling the map, and doing some funky stuff. But I always enjoyed, you know, a 35-minute team fight being controlled by which AD carry just pops off. Like I always find that personally really entertaining. So I'm not a big fan, personally. I think it sort of takes away a lot of the fundamentals that you know, and it takes away some of the skill from teams. Like you look at some of our AD carries, man, that are now sort of not empowered anymore, right? Like you've got Doggo, who is just picking Vlad. Like, sure, it's like a fun champ. He's picking Vlad into the Ziggs. Okay, you've got Betty on the Ziggs, and then fallback is Jin. It's like, okay, well, neither of these are particularly entertaining. And that's in general, I think, not a good thing for entertainment value of watching the game. But that's, again, a personal opinion, very subjective. But, I mean, it does give more proactivity to the supports. Not that I think they were lacking in sort of proactivity. I think that role has always had a ridiculous amount of autonomy. Now you're playing champs that do just a ridiculous amount of damage, not requiring gold because of the support quest. And I don't think it's particularly healthy. Like, you watch a Camille at level 1 just go and invade or gank a top
Yeah.
laner and pretty much guarantee they have to flash or they're completely zoned away, invade a red and kill the jungler. Like, it doesn't, I mean, it's just not fun. It's just, to be honest, not that entertaining to be like, okay, I just cannot take my jungle camp because they've got Camille. You know, like it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, whatever, man. It's kind of lame.
I can see that. I can see that. I think, and like sort of the way that they solved that in the past was AD carries mid, AD carries top, even like AD carries jungle at a certain point. But then that was before like role quests and everything like that, where now you are, I don't agree. Is it the case that you cannot actually change your role quest in the official game? Like you can't role
Yeah,
swap like you can in solo queue?
yeah, you go into champ select already having your roles and you can't swap it from there. So like
I
when you're sitting in the lobby, you choose your, it's the same in just regular custom games, but
oh, okay.
when you're in the custom game lobby, you choose your role and you can't swap it in game. You can just swap champs, but that's it.
I would wish that they changed that because I think that could be a way that they provide that more. Because obviously, you know, you will people in general have to adapt to new metas and all that kind of stuff and new champions.
Mm.
But if someone, you know, if I don't know, Super on the team is a better AD carry than whoever their top laner is, I think that should be something that they maybe look into. But again, that's
Yeah, I
sort
don't
of
think that's the
the
solution. I
yeah.
really, I think that's a shit solution personally. I think a really good one was what Yamato tweeted actually, where it was like, you just lock the support quest behind level 6. Because we
Oh,
already see that supports are struggling to get to level 6 because they're never around
yeah.
minions. They're just going and fighting people.
And then they get the catch
So
up
it's really,
experience. Yeah.
yes. So I think like locking support quest behind level 6 will delay wards quite substantial, like a substantial amount in comparison to, let's say, a month ago or 2 months ago when it was enchanters predominantly in the meta and you were playing stuff like Ashe Seraphine, Lucian, Milio, whatever. I think you are much further behind on XP in general nowadays. um and that is a pretty good solution, I think, because then if you are then having to lane a lot more, that lowers the sort of power of these mages in the 2v2 lane, because the reason they're picked is they're just so good at 1v2ing. You know, they've got an infinite wave clear from very early on, and they're not really feeling the pressure. Like if you see a Mal and they've then gone and picked whatever AD carry support, It's like, well, the Mal just has to not be near the minions and sit there far away, out of auto attack range, clearing minions. And it's like, well, this is very uninteractive, so the support may as well just fuck off, which is what happens. But if that happens, like if you're in sort of that meta and you're just forced to lane because you need the support level, the support XP for the support quest, I think that is a pretty good solution personally. It's probably not a one patch fixes all thing, but I think that's probably in the right direction.
I think does that also solve the AD cat like the bot lane position? Do you reckon, or is that you reckon we're gonna see that stay around for a while?
I think that mostly would fix it. I mean, the other way to fix it is just buff 80 carry items.
Yeah,
Like plain and simple, right? Like half of the power of mages is they get to first item this Blackfire torch thing, and it's pretty broken. And it
yeah.
also like as much as it's memed on in the past because building it in the wrong position, but everyone complained about Gale Force. Well, Proto Bout is
Oh,
just the modern day Gale Force, right?
yep,
Like
and
that
it's
is
way cheaper.
essentially
Yeah.
just yes, yes. Okay, it doesn't do as much damage as Gale Force did, but the sort of premise is the same, where you're giving these immobile champs mobility, and that sort of breaks them fundamentally, right? Like Zaya was kind of broken fundamentally because you could use Gale Force when you pressed E, and that would make her a whole lot stronger. Same as like Aphelios, giving him mobility made him a whole lot stronger. Well, I mean, the same can be said about Mal, right? Like Mal, sort of her weakness should be her immobility, but you get Protobout, and all of a sudden you're not immobile anymore. So I think like that is part of the issue where just Gale Force to me was removed, and I think it was rightfully removed. I enjoyed the item. I enjoyed AD carry with the item, but yes, it was OP. But Protobout's the same thing.
Yeah.
Protobout's literally the same thing. It doesn't matter if you nerf the numbers; it still gives immobile champs mobility, which fundamentally breaks how they should operate.
Yeah. Well, we saw like a bit of a change as well with like mid lane. Obviously, they changed the role quest to just giving flat AD and AP, and that kicked a lot of the mages. Sorry, a lot of the tanks out of the mid lane as well. So obviously, they
Mhm.
probably don't want to do something that heavy handed for bot lane. I would imagine because that locks even a lot of AD carries out of it as well if they did like attack speed or something like that. So we'll have to
Well, I
see.
mean, you could just one thing they've done in the past is just improve base MR. Like that could break
Yeah.
other lanes too, is the issue, right? But like, if you let's say you could maybe I'm sure there's a way with the technology that exists these days to be like, okay, 80 carries in the bottom lane get an additional 5 base MR or
Mhm.
some shit like that. Like that's probably something that could happen that makes them function better against mages, specifically in the bot lane, whilst not affecting, for example, a mid lane Tristana, mid lane Corki. But yeah.
I'm excited to see yeah where this meta goes from here though, and how teams begin to figure it out. I think is
Mhm.
probably the thing I'm most excited for. Did you end up watching the behind the scenes that Team Secret Wales dropped from MSI?
I did not,
Oh,
unfortunately.
it was crazy. It's I didn't expect it to be as tense as it was, but there was like there were tears, there were people cursing at each other and all that kind of stuff after the HLE loss. And I'm like, I think it's interesting that we get to see, yeah, like I don't think anyone imagined Team Secret Wales to be the team that is that tense in those situations.
Yeah, I mean, I they're pretty critical of themselves. I haven't seen it, so I can't
Yeah,
really
no,
comment
fair
that
fair
much.
enough.
But it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's always good to be critical of yourself. I don't know if that's the context or not, but um, I mean, yeah, most successful teams seem pretty critical of themselves, like T1 in the
yeah,
past when they're not doing well. They're always hypercritical of themselves. I mean, you've seen Faker take it out on himself multiple
yeah,
times in the past, so I think it comes with being an elite sportsman, typically, being hypercritical. And I mean, yeah, same can be said for like Inspired, right? We've got lots of evidence of him being very critical of, not playing to the level that he should or his team should or whatever.
yeah. We'll have to. I hope that things get better for the team this split. I mean, obviously they're off to a good start already, and they're probably gonna just sweep through the bracket. I imagine. I don't see any other team really taking this split home at this point, other than Team Secret Wales. So
Yep.
at this point, it's probably going to be uh, them going into Worlds as our first seed, and hopefully they can take what they learned from MSI and originally from First Stand as well into that. But I guess with that, we can probably touch on the week 2 matches. We've got a lot of inter region warfare here. We're starting off with DFM going up against Hawks. And then we got GZ versus DCG. So probably like the nightmare match, I think, of this first round.
Yeah, I mean, both of them. I mean, SHG are just going to win their series, right? Unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think GZ should be able to beat DCG, but
If they stay
like,
this form, they
especially based
absolutely
on,
will.
yeah, especially after week 1. But I mean, who knows, man? We could just draft an absolute fucking abysmal draft again and lose off that. Like, it is definitely possible. It's happened in the past. It happened last week. So, like, I don't know. That's the one thing I don't have faith in right now. To be honest, the draft was really, 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 really bad. And it's like, it's an oversight that is just so obvious. I don't know. It feels like so obvious that you're coming in and you're fifth picking your Galio whilst looking at the rest of the team and having no damage. It's like, are we really, like, what are we trying to do here, man? Just pick something that does some damage. It doesn't matter what the fuck it is, but Galio's not the pick. You know, like, it's just like Galio earlier in the draft, so you could draft damage elsewhere could have been fine, but that's not what happened. You know, like draft Galio and then pick something that does damage top. You know, Yijang's perfectly good on carries. Do something like that, but no. We didn't. We did the opposite way around and ended up with a terrible draft. And if we do that against DCG, we'll also lose. So.
Because they picked it. It was last pick. They last picked Galio. They see they have Cassante and the Fury, and then they're like, yeah, we're gonna put Uniboy.
So pretty much
on
our
Galio.
only damage essentially is Neferi, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's pretty problematic. Neferi's not gonna kill Aatrox.
No.
To be honest, okay, if Hoosh is up 2k gold, sure, but that's not gonna happen. You know, like, you can't rely on that happening consistently. Not because it's Hoosh, but just because, like, you can't go into a game being like, okay, we're gonna kill Aatrox because Hoosh is gonna be up 2k gold. How are you going to reliably make that happen? You can't, man. It relies on MVK being bad, and they're not. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Were they just tunneling into the lock, you reckon, with that pick? Because, like, what does Galio actually do versus the rest of the comp? It's just against the lock, I think.
I mean, Galio is a good pick, but not there because of your team comp, not because of their team comp. It's a good pick for your team, but it's not a good pick because of what you've picked it last around other things that don't have any damage. Like, you picked that earlier. Like, let's say we got the exact same draft, but Galio's picked third, and then you can pick something for Yijang that does damage top. It's like, okay, cool, you know, winnable. But that's not what happened. So
yeah, you could. I mean, well, yeah, you have a bunch of picks into Aatrox. Was it Aatrox top or was it? Oh no, it was Jace top. Jungle. It was Jace top, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got picks into that as well. Obviously, no one's trying out that new build the LS is showing off, so people aren't maximizing the damage on Jace yet, so you can get away with it.
It is an interesting thing. Yeah, I wonder if people will do it. It does seemingly look pretty good. So, I mean, you are much squishier, but
yeah, I've seen people doing, at least getting victories in it. They didn't have great score lines to start off, but they were doing decently with it. It was the Black Cleaver, Essence Reaver, Flicker Blade, for those who didn't end up seeing it. I think it went PTA as well. So yeah, you get massive resets on your stuff, and you do a lot of burst damage. But yeah, we will have to see what these teams end up going for that round. And then the final match of the week is CFO going up against Garm and Team Secret Whales going up against MVK.
Not for the week. There's 2 days that aren't decided yet.
The ones we know of.
Yeah.
These are the Friday matches here. I'm very, very excited to see this MVK roster actually, I don't want to say have tough competition, but have a team that's going to push them in the way that GZ didn't.
MVK CFO?
The MVK Team Secret Whales one.
Team Secret Whales are just going to 2-0, man.
Really?
Yes, man. Yes.
Really? You think you're getting 2-0?
Yes.
Okay.
They're getting 2-0'd.
Interesting.
Why would you not think they're getting 2-0'd?
I don't know, man. I think this MVK roster, I don't want to say anything just yet, but I think MVK is in contention for Worlds.
Sure, but that doesn't mean they're in contention for beating Team Secret Whales.
They could maybe take a game. You don't know.
It's a 2-0, man. It's a 2-0.
Didn't DFM take a game last split? It's not impossible.
DFM against Team Secret Whales? No.
I think it was DFM, wasn't it?
I don't believe so. Maybe they did, but either way, it doesn't matter. They're not taking a game. Team Secret Whales are 2-0ing.
Interesting. Yeah, they took a game, I think. Yeah, it was
How
final
is
week.
it? I can't believe you'd think they're going to take a game. Like there's absolutely nothing to support. Oh yeah, MBK's probably going to
Harky.
take a game against New South Wales.
Harky's doing
Eddie,
well.
like what's your point? You can't just say a
Eddie's
name and be
not.
like, yeah, this is why.
Do you think Harky looked okay? Do you think Eddie looked as good in his series as Harky looked in his?
Sure, yeah. I don't think Harky was a difference maker in the GZ series. No, not at all.
I'm not that Talia game. He did pretty
Yeah,
well.
he did fine. He didn't do bad. He was really good around the map, sure, but like that doesn't. Everyone was winning, man. Everyone was winning. It's a lot easier to look better as a mobile, someone that controls the map and can be around the map when your team's just winning. To be honest, like it's yeah, no, you can't just say a name and be like, this is why they're gonna get a game. It's not how it works.
I think it's gonna be a 2-1. I think it's gonna be a 2-1. Despite all this, I think they have the capability to do it. It's I would say it's like a 40% chance. Otherwise, I think 60% 2-0.
40.
Yeah.
I'd say it's like I'd say it's like a 20% chance they get a game. I don't think it's impossible, but I think it doesn't rely on them being good. It relies on Team Secret Wales being bad, and I don't think they will be.
Yeah. We'll have to see. And then the last match of the week, CFO versus GARM. I think this one will be the close one.
I agree.
Of the day. I think GARM's still going to take it. I think CFO looked good, but I think GARM's just looked more consistent all year.
I agree. I think GARM will take it. It's hard to justify, but that's what I feel. You know, it's more of a feeling than anything concrete. But yeah, I think GARM will win.
Well,
I don't know if it'll be 2-0, 2-1, but I think GARM will win.
That's what I mean. That's always going to be the case in these early weeks, especially when it is such a shorter, like regular season, quote unquote, than the rest of the year. I like Swiss stage. I still don't know how I feel about it for domestic. I think just a regular season is what I would have preferred to see. So we get more competition, more teams.
Seeing everyone versus each other is kind of nice.
Yeah,
like to be honest.
Well. And it just gives them probably gives them about the same amount of games. Oh, probably not actually.
They get more games if they play each other.
Yeah, exactly.
A regular split gives you much more games because this is a minimum of 3.
Yeah.
Whereas the minimum is usually 7.
Yeah.
So
and also like if you're a fan of DFM, you've got nothing really to. I mean, first off, I feel sorry for you, but second, you haven't really got anything to go off after they get eliminated. It's like
yeah, it is. I mean, you've got the relegations. In theory,
True.
So we'll play again assuming they do just get knocked out first. There will be relegations, but that's kind of a grim thing to look forward to, I think. I don't think it's like, yeah, we get to watch them in November and possibly lose their spot.
Yeah.
That's I know this feeling from Chiefs last year. It's not a fun time to watch them.
I just realized, so if MVK, if any 2 of the GZ, DCG, MVK join Team Secret Wales in Worlds qualification, that'll only mean that one of the teams go on a regional merit, right? So, say for instance, GZ, DCG make it, MVK will play regional merit, but the PCS team will also be in the free for all at that point. So there is still a chance we could have 4 PCS teams next year if DCG
same as VCS.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If MVK and GARM, MVK and Team Secret Wales make it both to Worlds, then PCS would be the regional merit, and then VCS would be in free for all.
It'd be a very funny situation to see, because I mean we spoke about briefly during the co-stream about like if there's no partner teams qualifying for Worlds, that'd be no partner teams in general qualifying for an international over the course of this year, which would be a very interesting situation we'd find ourselves in. But we will have to see. We got a lot more action ahead of us before that point.
Yeah. Have to see. I mean, I'm excited for the OS one.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's coming up real fast. I think the qualifiers are starting up. I don't want to say next week. Is it next week?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks from now. That'll be pretty fun. I think there's open qualifiers. I don't know how many teams have signed up yet, but I imagine they've got a fair few people involved. Usually it's like they find what was how many was there for OPQ? It was like 30 odd, right?
20 something, yeah. 23 or something like that. I can't remember exactly.
I think I'm not. I think your Kiwi boys could have a chance. I don't think that ENC would disqualify you guys if you're like tier 2. You don't even have Riot contracts yet at that point.
Yeah, no, it's not worth the risk though. Like for example, our PUBG team had to change their roster because they played some random tournament that so they had to change their roster because then it would have been so it's just not worth it.
Yeah, fair enough.
The long and short. I think if the New Zealand team played, we would win. I don't think there's any chance we wouldn't.
Also, the timing for promo, it's like a week before. I think it's a week before ENC starts as well.
2 weeks.
So 2 weeks.
Or like a week and a half.
Yeah.
It starts on the 10th and then finishes on the 13th, and then ENC starts 21st.
Yeah. So not a big turnaround, especially when you have to travel halfway around the world for the event. So it might not be worth it. But
I mean, I think if Team New Zealand played in this thing and we're allowed to play in this thing, I think we'd qualify for the LCP.
Ooh.
Like, well, I mean, like our only competition is DFM and SEA, and we've already shared on all of SEA. So
yeah,
we went lossless. You know, like there was one close game.
Yeah,
and we played like 7 games or something. It was it was a dismantling.
I think there's enough good Oceanic like Aussie players or players not on the ENC team that could scrounge together.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can still qualify, but I'm saying like what I'm saying is if the New Zealand team played, I'm like sure we would.
Okay.
I don't. It's a lot harder to put together like 5 players that aren't the New Zealand team because like, bro, the New Zealand team is fucking stacked. To be honest, like actually, I mean like you like obviously like in terms of success, you've got Chippies in the top lane, Lost, Rays. Like these are all some of the most successful players in the region. Why not as well? And then Shock, who wasn't like massively successful during his career, but in my opinion has only gotten substantially better since retiring. Because I mean, all he's done since is play League, coach, and stream. So he has not stopped playing this game. Bro, this team is stacked. By the way, this would be one of the best Oceanic teams of all time.
Ooh,
not even kidding.
That's okay.
I'm not even kidding.
There's not much of a competition. No, I mean, no offense to the teams that came before, but there isn't too much of a competition in that regard.
I mean, there's some. Like, you go back to, like, Season 5 and stuff, Legacy Direwolves back in the day. They were all really, really good teams. But, like,
they were good, but they never qualified for... They always lost it. Like,
ENC, true.
Well, wildcard. They always lost to that, so... Yeah,
I mean, they won most of the wild cards. It would be, like, they'd lose against, like, one of them. But, like, we'd always beat Brazil, for example.
Yeah.
Like, we pretty much always beat Brazil.
The INTZ matches were fun, I will say. I remember watching them in the past. Because League Classic is back to mind. Yeah, the nostalgia's just coming to me.
Yeah, I don't know. This New Zealand team would have been so fucking cool to do this qualifier with, but it's not worth the risk because all these players, like, it's pretty meaningful to all of them, this whole ENC journey.
Yeah.
So it's not worth risking that.
Fair enough. I think I completely forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, are you guys scrimming much? Probably not, right? You probably don't have a whole lot of experiences to scrim in the meantime.
Everyone's focused on their life.
Yeah,
so we'll scrim again. Come closer to the date of
like 4 months, 3 months.
NC, yeah, exactly. And like to be honest, the scrim practice we can get, it wouldn't be that high. Yeah. Right, like we were hoping Australia qualified alongside us because that would give us a very solid scrim partner.
They've shat the bed.
Yeah. So we don't really have anyone. Like we could make makeshift teams, but like 4 months out, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
You know.
No, exactly. I think that's probably all of the major news. There wasn't too much outside of the games this week to cover. Were there any specific things that you wanted to touch on before we close things out?
Not really, but I guess I'm awfully close to going over and telling Sky he's fired. But I mean, it wouldn't mean anything. But
You could take the helm.
I'll just say it. I'll just go over there and say it out of passion.
Yeah.
Completely meaningless. I don't have that power, but I do have freedom of speech. So I would be allowed to say it. It just wouldn't have any meaning behind it.
It just fall on deaf ears. He'd be like, okay, well, I'm the actual coach here.
Yeah. Yeah. I've not lost a series to Spawn. I'll have you know.
True. That might actually help you out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, I think we can probably close things. It's a little bit shorter episode here, but we got a lot more coming in the coming weeks.
Next week will be longer.
Oh yeah, next week.
So many games.
Next week there's like 8 matches total to cover, and then
I think
all
7.
the way. Yeah, something like that.
7.
And then all the way up until split through. I'm realizing now because I fly out on the Monday morning at like 9 a.m. So I'm trying to figure out how we're gonna do the pre-finals episode of the podcast. Maybe I just do it while I'm in the. I've got like an 18-hour layover in Singapore, so we could just like a remote setup, just like a horrible.
Why the fuck do you have an 18-hour layover?
Because I'm cheap. I didn't want to spend like an extra two. I didn't want to spend like an extra $200.
Do not leave the airport.
No, I'm not going to.
Do not leave the airport because it is far too expensive. Do not.
No, I'm not going to.
Singapore is in Southeast Asia, but it is not Southeast Asia. Do not get it fucked up.
It's expensive as hell.
Fucked. That place is unbelievable.
Bro, it's crazy.
It is like double the price of things in New Zealand, and it's supposed to be Southeast Asia. I was ganked, bro. My white monsters, they were What village is this? I think this is 500. This is 500 mil. They had 310 mil in Singapore, and they costed double what a 500 mil does here. Oh my god, these guys, man.
Yeah. No, I got off lucky. There's a place near where I was staying when I was over there after Split 2, and it had like a $2 like chicken and rice meal with like some vegetables. Oh man, that was like half of my meals while I was over there.
I majoritively ate the sandwiches from 7-Eleven. They're fucking fire though. I was doing the same in Malaysia. I like lived off the the egg and cheese, cheese and mayo 7-Eleven sandwiches. I was devouring those things. They were good.
When I was over there, I was like, I miss Taipei so much. It's a lot cheaper over there. It's a lot better quality. No offense to Singapore, it's a lot better quality. It's $200 more than when you'd be comfy. Because it's $200 plus it's an extra night of accommodation that I've got to book, Bo. So I'm like, I can log 18 hours in an airport.
I'm going to Taiwan in Bo's suitcase and sleeping on his floor.
I got books to read. I stacked up. I got like 1,500, probably more. I got like 1,800 pages worth of books to read this August. I'll be fine.
Damn.
Maybe we do like a scuffed episode where I'm somehow doing it from my laptop in Changi Airport or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out for the finals.
Your laptop's probably just as powerful as your PC, realistically.
Yeah, my PC's dog shit. It might actually. It's about as old as my laptop, so it actually might function. I could always, we could rip an emergency pre-finals.
Oh, there'll be a way to do it. There'll be a way to do it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out regardless of what ends up happening. But thank you all for tuning in for this episode of the Off Rift podcast. Like I mentioned, go check it out on the on the VOD when it comes out, and catch us live next week and every week in the lead up to Worlds, and maybe even while Worlds is going on. We'll have to see. But see you guys later.